Okay.
All right, we're live. Welcome to the Cornox Club.
I can try that.
What?
Oh, I've never viewed this on Twitch before, and now I'm viewing it on Twitch. Oh god, that was terrible because it didn't have the mute on yet. That is, ugh.
You got an echo or a delay?
Yeah.
Or both?
Yes. I think I shall be smarter and split my screens. Huh.
Hopefully that will do the trick and we'll be able to see.
No! What are you...
What?
Oh, just me being dumb. Alright, that's better. Huh. Huh. I have no idea what I should be looking for on Twitch, but...
Oh, I'm sure if somebody adds a follow, it'll pop up.
Oh, okay.
But I can't see it on Twitch if I'm in here.
Got it.
And I can't watch Twitch and do this and be in here and, So
Oh, come on. You can do all kinds of... Grow some more eyes.
Well, we can't grow too many eyes. You know why.
I could guess.
Because then the eyes would have it.
Okay. Hey, dog, stop that.
They would overthrow us and have it.
Well.
Doing a little experimenting here too.
Okay.
Well, let's see how far I can push the mix. Because usually when you mix complementary colors, is it neutral? I want to know just how far I can get away with the mixing of them before they become so neutral. Or lean one way or another after. You know. That's that. Sticking good and pulling it away. What I was talking about. It doesn't going to take much for that to happen. And you can't see because it's off the corner.
Okay.
Well, I'm mixing over here. This is a clipboard, so I can't just pick it up right.
Oh.
And this is where it's going to end up being pushing it a lot right here. The spots that are more in the light than in the shadow.
Oh, you are definitely playing around with my ADHD. Because now I have 2 screens to watch, which I'm like, oh, I should be watching this one for a while. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, I should look down here. Oh, but look at the big TV. Oh, but look down here. Guys, the screen on my laptop, when I look into it, I don't look so bad. When I look at the big screen, I look like an idiot. Like I don't know what I'm looking at. So, the only problem, I think, I'm going to have to adjust the, there we go. I get more light from the big TV, so it's, one of those things where it's better to have a light background on so I don't look so shady. Twitch is a dark background, so I got to put up another screen, which is big enough I can do both, but it's one of those things. Why did you bring Baby Cat up here?
Baby baby kid.
Yeah, but she hates being up here.
Uh-uh. You can buy a kid. You can hold her like an evil man.
Ah. Look, it's Baby Cat. Who hates this?
What she done?
Ah.
Brr. Not angry.
There, that should increase viewership for at least a second.
I'm gonna make her shake bottom.
Oh, Lord.
What?
Let me know if you can hear my fan in the background. I turned it on because most of my house is freezing cold, but my bedroom tonight is just hot.
I cannot. At least currently.
Okay.
That is my razor.
It's like you were born with it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, instinctually know how to use it. It's like an extension of my hand almost, right? I'm in the process of me proving that I don't know how to use my hand.
Nice.
And spreading stuff I was trying to erase. Now, when I wanted it that thin, I was talking to somebody where I'm on about values. They didn't understand they thought they did, but you could tell that they didn't really understand.
Oh, that message you sent me on Discord, that one?
Yeah. And so, first of all, there's no shame in not understanding a term. Because that's how you learn a term. You ask questions and get to learn. But more so when you pretend that you already knew and you quite clearly didn't already know, that's just as obvious. But they were saying that their problem with coloring was coloring clothes. And
okay.
Well, I'm getting to something, and that's that coloring clothes isn't any different than coloring a face or coloring a vehicle or a building or pretty much anything else, right? It's all about the color theory. I mean, there's no special way to apply it differently to make it clothes. It's clothes because they've got textures in them, right?
Right.
And you depict the textures with values. So, just to clarify for those that don't know, but I'm guessing that most people that are watching this have a clue by now. Values are anything between black and white. White is your highest possible value. Black is your lowest possible value. And all this, the scale of gray in between is a scale of value. So you apply that scale of value, the dark and light, to your hue and your chroma. And that's how you get accuracy in color. So your chroma is how thin or opaque, how bright or muddied, like how clear the color or how muddied with another color. And your hue is what you're using. Like right now I'm using purple. I mixed the purple, but some of it's thinner and some of it's thicker. Or some of it's thinner and some of it's less see-through, which is opaque. And when I mix another color into it, that distills the purity, which is playing with the chroma.
Okay.
So getting texture with clothes, with rocks, with wood, with skin textures, with fur or whatever, you're still playing with those three ingredients, just on different levels, because you're still playing with shapes, like you're playing with shapes with color. I wanted to mention that because that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is that what I'm doing is playing with the shade colors, the shadow colors, which are just the lowest value colors. But it's also, like I was saying, I think I was saying it on the video that generally your shadow colors, the shadow that's cast across the color is comprised of the complementary color. So I'm using purples because this character is tones of green. And they pretty much lay opposite on the color wheel. And when you cross when you mix complementary colors, generally you get a neutral. And the neutral is either grays, because, completely in the middle of black and white is gray and that's neutral, or it's an earth color or brown, but it's a neutral brown. Which is why browns and tans and all that are called neutrals, because they're neutral colors. They neutralize the components of the color that really stand out as opposites. I don't know if that guy's gonna ever watch my channel, but when I plan to do one of these, I always post an announcement in the fan server, so he may very well show up and see this, and hopefully it will help him in that way. Because that's ultimately what I want to do, is help people get an understanding of the harder concepts, or the concepts that they didn't understand. Simple things like that, like really, when I started understanding values, like really understanding values and how they applied to color theory, it pretty much changed everything.
Okay.
There is an argument, and I'm actually on the side of the argument, that if you get the values right, the hue doesn't matter. So you'll see, like, for instance, movie posters where you see an image that fades from reds and oranges to greens to purples to blues, all in one shot, right? But you can see and recognize the character. And they did that with some Star Wars posters, and right in the middle of Harrison Ford's face, it'll change from hot colors on top to kind of a mid color, like a greenish color. They go through the primary colors, but so hots and colds and the greens in between, yellows. But you still see it's Harrison Ford. Why? Because all the values are still correct. So, like, if it changes the color in the middle of his face, you still know it's his face, because the darker part is still the darker part of the next color. They are the same level, the same value, darkness, even though they're a completely different color. And when you do that, if you get those values right, it's just like looking at a value drawing, but in any kind of color. So you can accept a sepia painting, right?
Yeah.
And you could say, oh, that looks like Kolinsky. Well, you could paint that sepia painting using that as a base color. Where you're fading it from either darker or lighter colors on the color wheel, just so long as the darks stay the same level of darkness and the lights stay the same level of lightness. Because then, like a shadow or wrinkle or whatever will follow through the different colors and still look like that same fold or whatever. Am I making myself clear or confusing everything?
No, I think you're being clear.
And when I learned that was really magic, because it takes all that concern with, well, what color is skin color, it just takes it away from you. You no longer are concerned with what color skin color is if you realize that it really doesn't matter as long as the values are right, because, you know, skin color is different in different lights and close to different colored objects, because skin, as we've talked about, you and I have talked about before, is reflective. So it can be an orange peachish color, but more blue, where it's more translucent in the bends of the elbows or corners of the eyes, where there's a larger number of capillaries visible. And that would be reasonable, right?
Huh?
I mean, you don't want to do like this color blue when something is this light. You know what I mean? You want to do a really light blue to match up with that, but skin's reflective, so. There's no one specific color for skin, and I'm not even talking about the different ethnicities, skin colors, or whatever, because that is still reflective, and still some parts of the skin are more translucent than others. Infinitely interesting to me to see how people read those things, you know? And by read, I mean interpret. Like when they see something, how it reads, if it translates to what you're trying to do or show. So this is much more of a mop brush, and for those watching that don't understand that means it's less detailed and more spreading it, so I can cover more area with it with each swipe. I don't want to get too dark though. It's one thing if I'm turning away from the light, but I think the broader part of the hand, I want to step down in stages because I'm going to cross some of it with the color of the skin. The natural color of his skin, which Brett informs me is a blue-white booger. Chartreuse-ish, yellowish. So
Chartreuse has a yellow and a green.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Chartreuse is a lighter green. It is on the green spectrum. But green is made of yellow and blue, so obviously that's yellow. But the more yellow you get, the more phlegm colored it looks like. So,
That's fine. He's a troll. It's all right.
okay, that's a sickly color, though. That's okay with me. I'm just preparing for it, and I'm preparing the audience to expect something that's not going to be skin colored like a white person, or or any other kind of normal ethnicity color. It's supposed to be intentionally a different color than and why is that relative? Because we were just talking about how value is what matters, and making it look like it's believable, right?
Right.
And I want people to understand that I'm not just choosing these nasty colors because I want to prove the point that it will still look like he's supposed to look. And I'm choosing these colors specifically to meet the description of the color of the character. And then the challenge is going to be deciding what color I want to cover the flowers. That's not going to be major portions of purple or green. And we're going to have green. Don't have much of a choice on that when it comes to the stems and stuff. So is your wife feeling a little better?
No. She keeps saying, "Oh, I'm getting better," because every time, gosh, I'm just like, why don't you go to urgent care? No.
That's why she don't want to go to urgent care.
I know, but she's like, "Oh, everything hurts." It's like, I feel bad for her, but I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt bad enough that you want to go to urgent care. So, I don't know what to tell you.
How bad was it? Yeah, well, I'm kind of of that mind too. I don't like really hospitals, so
Yeah,
I don't want to hang out in the hospital if I don't have to.
I get that.
That's I'm just saying, that's my point of view. Is that I don't like hospitals. I mean, I like the concept of hospitals, obviously, but.
Well, I mean, this is technically a doc in a box, not a hospital, but
Well,
9 times out of 10, they're like, "Oh, we can't take X-rays. You'll have to go to the hospital."
Our urgent care is more like just an emergency room, so. But
I don't know. I don't get. They have the equipment to do X-rays, but they don't ever have a tech there. So it's like, I mean, if you think you have pneumonia or anything like that, or if they suspect it at all, they're still going to send you to the ER because no one else can do the stupid X-ray.
So you go there just to get sent there? Like, why would you go there then?
Well, that's the part. Like, I've gone there for. Oh, I had. I forget why, but I had an allergic reaction to some antibiotics. I've been taking these antibiotics for 2 weeks, and on the last day, my whole body just broke out. And so, yeah, I went to urgent care. They're like, oh, it looks like you're allergic to sulfas. And, they can do that. But if you break a bone, might as well go to the ER. If you think
Well, I think I'd probably go to the ER anyway if I broke a bone.
well, I'm just saying.
But like I said, I think that our urgent care is much more like this than we are anyway. But here's the weird thing, like for us to go to the ER or us to go to urgent care,
Yeah.
we'd have to go past the ER to get to the urgent care. Like the closest urgent care is, you'd have to go, you either have to go past the ER or you'd have to take a different route, a longer route, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But no, I guess the fever has gone down.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but this is my wife's logic. She was taking her temperature relatively regularly. She wants to get a 99 and 100, 101, 102, 103. And it gets to 103, and she's like, oh, I got to stop taking my temperature because at 104, you're supposed to go to the emergency room. That's not how that works.
That's one way.
Yeah. I was just like, no, that's not what we do.
That way, but, I guess that's
Yeah.
one way to stop from seeing it go over on you.
I was like, I don't think that's how that works, really. But yeah, and now she's gotten to the point where she's like, if I'm not better tomorrow, I'll go. Which means tomorrow she'll say, if I'm not better, I'll try tomorrow.
So what is she afraid of, though? Because that's probably what it is she's afraid of something.
I don't know. She has a general pattern. Deny, deny, deny. Postpone, postpone, postpone. And if she's lucky, she outlasts whatever it is. But anyone else, she's just like, go now.
Yeah, right. Why are you still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife didn't have sympathy for me when I was having tooth problems until much later when she started having tooth problems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the teeth that I don't have, most of them I pulled out myself.
Okay. That's creepy.
Well,
weird.
Well, I guess to you, apparently it's not so weird among men right now. Because I keep hearing like, oh, my grandfather did that in his day. And,
I'm trying to keep all my teeth, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, but when you can't, And my deal was that, like, I had been to dentists that had fucking hell. Like, they had hurt me worse than the fucking whatever I was dealing with the tooth. And I found that I could pull it easier by myself than going and getting the shots and all that shit. The shots, some of them literally ground against my bone, giving me the shots. And I was like, no, I'm done with that shit. But my wife didn't understand the whole tooth thing and all that until she got some major tooth pain like that.
Rusty Sudaguda? Welcome to the Gordox Pub. I hope I didn't butcher your name that badly.
Yeah, right. Welcome. Hello. Yeah, I was doing a tattoo, and I had tooth finally come loose enough to pull. So I stopped, took my gloves off, washed my hands, went over, pulled the tooth, washed my hands, put my gloves back on, and went back to working, right? And the person that was getting tattooed, they remembered that. I guess it left an impression.
Well,
And,
yeah, that leave an impression, all right.
And so when they were starting to have a bad toothache, they decided they were just going to yank it, right?
Oh.
They grabbed a hold of it and yanked it. And he's telling me the story. He said, I yanked it and I just pulled the nerve. knocked myself the fuck out.
Yeah.
You pronounced my name incorrect because I'm an Indian. Okay, how would we sound that? I mean, because...
Srusti Sudag. I don't know.
Yeah, like... We don't want to mispronounce your name. But invariably we're Americans and kind of dumb that way. We don't
I think
have...
anyone in any culture who's unfamiliar with the name is going to have a hard time.
Well, I think, Americans, as far as English-speaking cultures go, we're a little bit less versed in, because we're not like constantly surrounded by other countries and people from other countries. I mean, we are more and more, but traditionally, we developed our own shorthand on our own languages, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we are less conscious of the sound effects that certain letters make put together from other languages. How do you say any of that without sounding, wrong? But yeah, like we're not intentionally mispronouncing anybody's name. We're ignorant of how we pronounce it. It's not common for us, or at least either one of us, apparently. Right? That would be more.
I don't know. I have to pronounce all kinds of people's names every year. They give you that sheet, and you see all these names that you've never seen before because they never existed. And then you got to figure out, some of them are relatively easy, and some of them are like, what? When I told you that story about the girl, her name was spelled D''J', right?
You could have, and like sometimes when I'm working, I don't pick up on everything everybody says. So go ahead and retell it if you want.
Well, this girl was shy, and I mean D''J'. I was like, DJ? I don't know. And it was like a couple months into the year, and these girls were giggling, and I'm like, what?
Was it a guava pause?
No. Her name was Deidre.
This is one right pronunciation.
Srusti.
Suda. Goda. Godea. Goda. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. So, I deserve a compliment in one area and some, bad mouthing in another. What would we call you for short that wouldn't be, hacking?
I like Srusti.
Srusti? Yeah, because that's probably the easiest.
That, I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's these things I'm not familiar with. I like to learn new things. Okay, so
Trucy said it's okay. My name is not easy to pronounce. Sometimes my friends also pronounce it wrong.
yeah, do you have a nickname? Do you have a nickname that translates well to English? Because, like, I would hate to have it be a nickname that's harder to pronounce or harder to figure out for us. Either way, it's very cool. Are you in India, or are you in a different country and your roots are Indian?
Ria says Ria is my nickname.
Is it Ria or Raya?
Oh gosh, I could have
Well, I'm
missed
just asking because that's an easy.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Is it a strong I or a strong E? You Googling? Sounds very cool anyway. That's the other thing about names that I'm unaccustomed to is that I can't tell if that's a male name, female name. And I hate to ask what your pronoun is, but I wouldn't want to say he when it's a she. I am really trying to be considerate. I probably sound like an oaf. That's not my intent.
Ria said, Ria pronounced
Ria. Okay.
Ria.
All right, so you were correct. My half-life struggle. Well, we'll remember that. And we'll try not to make you struggle anymore here. But if you want to give us or if you want us to give you the correct attribution, let us know. Do you live in India? And India is a country, so that kind of sounds, I don't know. It always sounds weird to me to do that, because, like, we live in the U.S., but you live in a totally different part of the U.S. than I do. We have different dialects and different colloquialisms.
Ria said yes.
Okay, very cool. So we know a couple other people that have, I think that are in India or that area of the world.
Rich said your voice is not clear.
Oh yeah, it probably isn't. I'm not speaking directly into a microphone. And second of all, I think I'm coming down with something, so it's a little bit grungy.
You're becoming ill. You're down with the sickness.
Just so everyone in the world knows, I would not pray to that. And I don't know if it's sickness or just, rough throat. Usually, if it's sickness and a rough throat, it hurts my ears also. But my wife was cooking bacon earlier, and if you know what that means we're glad we weren't screaming because she sets the fire alarm off. Well, I can't even eat bacon, so it's like she's like, I want BLTs. And then all of a sudden, Eli's plugging his ears, the fire alarm is going off. He's like, well, it's because I'm cooking bacon. He's like, yep, I know.
It's a high price to pay, but totally worth it.
Well, she used to set the fire alarm off pretty much anything that she was cooking, like if she was frying it.
Yeah.
Because she's impatient.
Oh.
And instead of her just cooking it, she turns it up to the highest level.
I had to convince my son about the same thing, like, because he was always wanting to turn it on full blast, and was like, kept burning stuff. I was like, yeah, because you're turning it up too much. It's like, you're not going to steer it around and stir it constantly. So yeah, it's burning.
In my experience, mostly that's actually even burning it on the outside, so it doesn't get done on the inside, it just burns the outside.
Right. And so I had, eventually he gave in, and now he cuts it much slower, but
some people have to learn the hard way,
Yeah.
I was definitely one of them.
I suppose I can be that way, but man, Whit gets an idea in his head, and it's got to be his decision to change his mind. I mean, it's just doesn't matter what you do until he decides it's okay.
Right.
Which it can be a good quality, and sometimes it can be an annoyance.
So last stream, we're talking about writers taking you out of the immersion by saying stuff that was, completely unviable if you live in that area or know those vehicles. And I wanted to straighten one thing out that I said wrong. Like I was talking about Chuck Dixon's book where I was saying that it was a Jeep. It wasn't a Jeep that person was driving, it was a Mercedes. But it was a Mercedes SUV. So like that's really common around here to see that type of thing driven in the snow. And unless it's literally blizzard conditions, then people generally get around. We went off the road in blizzard conditions one time, and the person that stopped and helped us out was driving an 85 Camaro. So, like we slid off the road on an exit in that 85 Camaro. pulled over and helped us out. So
I would not. I would not think that'd be the car to help you.
that was the thing for us. That was the last thing that we expected to come around that corner fine. When it was one of those exits that went like this.
Yeah.
And we slid off, and we had snow tires on and everything else, right? And she would practically had bald tires and just zipped right past us like it was nothing. Pulled over to the side of the road, helped us out.
Very cool.
Yeah, you know. When we first, the first car we had when we had Logan was a Ford Aspire, right?
Okay.
So it's pretty much kind of like a Volkswagen Bug for Ford. But it sets a little higher in the seat.
Yeah.
I slid off the road. And a couple other guys pull over and just lifted the car out of the ditch. So there's something to be said for, economy vehicles like that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see if I can get rid of this gray. Now I'll use this part of the tray if I can do it without dipping the water. Dip it in the water. To mix up the greens. Should actually probably refresh the water too. Kind of cracks me up. This reminds me of a water tray for a bird.
Okay.
Like a bird cage, like you reach in and hook it.
Right.
There's a little hook on there. I don't know if you can see it. All right.
Hey, Rhea said, "If I were you, I would have lost my patience to complete this one artwork."
Oh, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't consider myself patient really, but what I'm just doing is this is just the shadow. So the next color that's going to be is for him, and this is I think 9 by 12 or something like that. So plus I don't know. I don't know if it's better or worse for me that I'm talking, because talking I'm not driving myself crazy, being impatient or whatever. So we can use a lighter green, see? Cranny apple green. Can you tell Brett from there?
Yeah.
And then we'll lighten that with the yellow.
Okay, what? I can see that part. I can't see that part.
Oh, because again, it's...
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it enough in the screen for everybody to see, but also to be able to work on this. So I'm using this green, watering it down a little bit, and that'll thin it out. If I would have just used that thin, then I'll go into the yellow. I don't think I have a patience problem with the actual painting or achieving the painting, but I have a patience problem when waiting for it to dry. Rhea. Like, I don't want to let it dry so that I'll wait for it to dry to go over it, but that's really the best results are when you do that. That's the right color of growth for you, Brett?
Hold on, I actually want to check something out. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd say that's right. It's kind of cool because on one screen that I have you on, it's a greener yellow than the other one, than the other screen, and they both work, and it's just interesting. Yeah, he kind of looks like the demon from DC Comics. I mean, he's not dressed the same, and horns are different, ears are different, but it's kind of the same color scheme and kind of the same look.
I think he was yellow, and a lot of artists represent him with a gold tone. His name is like what, Etruin or something like that.
Etrigan or Etrigan.
Etrigan, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know it's something, but I don't know.
This is like safety vest colors. It's funny, the complementary colors that are most disliked is this combination.
Okay.
The green-purple combination.
Oh. That's funny, because ever since I was little, I always liked that. I liked the green-purple combination.
Well, like the Hulk, you know? Like
yeah.
That. But yeah, that is the combination of green and purple is the least popular complementary color. I've never really minded. Like I hear people ask me all the time, "What's your favorite color?" And like it depends on what you're asking for. For my favorite color to wear, black. It just hides everything, right?
Sure.
But, as far as using to paint or whatever, I don't have a favorite color. Like they all have their purposes. Now see, it's got a little tint of brown to it when you sweep the yellow-green over it. And that's okay, that's what I thought it was going to do.
Rhea said, I checked your channel it is all about, I think, Stevens or any strong and powerful character, right?
No, there's women, there's... Well, I guess those, you could consider that strong and powerful. To me, it's fantasy characters, but I've done portraits, I'll do pretty much anything. Pretty much, I mean, within reason. There is limitations. There are things that I won't do. But the things that I won't do are things that you shouldn't be asking anyone to do really anyway. Like, I won't do anything that's overtly prejudiced or any of that crap. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't think I painted fish or anything like that, but I would. Painted them. But I paint a lot of comic book characters, I guess. That could probably just fit what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, because even, like, in the background, there was always a figure.
What?
All the things that you've done on your channel have had a figure of some type.
Well, yeah.
Rhea, that's 2 more languages than I speak. You're good.
What's that?
Rhea said English is my 3rd language, so I apologize if I make any mistakes, okay? And
No. We don't think you're making mistakes. We're just trying to be clear.
Yeah.
With our understanding of what you're saying and with the answers that we're trying to give you.
But yeah, I would. You haven't done like a landscape or
No, I don't generally do landscapes. I have actually given it some thought though. Nobody's hired me to do a landscape, and a lot of the stuff I do is commissioned.
Right.
So.
Well, I've got a suggestion if you don't get any commissions, but something like, I don't know, like a scene from a chase scene like Mad Max scenes. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be Mad Max.
You're talking about a bunch of cars in the desert?
Yeah.
Well, you want to make things difficult for me, huh?
I'm just saying something like that. I don't care. Just something that doesn't actually have any, or doesn't have a focus on a central figure. So, I mean, you've got, like, the reason I said the Mad Max one is, like, because you could design cars, you could keep them simple, and the backgrounds. I mean, if you watched Fury Road, some of that stuff was just amazing to look at. So, just it'd be neat. Rhea said we should give respect to everyone's language.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, all right, sounds good to me.
Well, language is a form of communication, so that to me is kind of like saying we should respect everyone's communication. And, like, the respect is through the communication, right? Like, we wouldn't insult you because you're you're not a naturalized English speaker or whatever. That would never be our approach anyway.
No.
And we do like learning about, well, I do like learning about other people's cultures. I'm going to assume that you do, Brett, but, what about culture?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah.
Because not only are we artists, we're writers, so, and I think that's the same thing, artist and writer, but a lot of people don't. And because we're writers, we do try to see things from other people's perspectives or understand other cultures, even represent other cultures. Definitely, they can be interesting just because they're not what I grew up with. Were you saying something, Brett, that I interrupted? Because shame on me, I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
Oh, I was just going to reiterate. I mean, I've tried to learn another language, and yeah. So the fact that you're on your third,
yeah, right. I think sometimes it's easier culturally. Because some cultures have a mixture of languages in them anyway. So from the time you're a little kid, you're already learning different people's languages, dialects. There was one place, I want to say Romania. Somewhere around there. Maybe not Romania. Well, maybe not Romania, but it's somewhere in Slavic countries that they literally have like 6 different languages. And it's not a big country to have that many languages, but because they have so many languages, like you get different dialects in different parts. I gotta remember where it is now. So I saw somebody that was mentioning it in a Discord that they had. We're trying to read a sign that was, I think, acrylic or something like that. But that particular area didn't have one language for that country. Some of it was German, some of it was Romanian, some of it was Greek, some of it was like a huge cross section of languages. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But I would think that and when you look at the area, the literal acreage that it covers, where they change languages from one to the other, it's such a small area, such a small divide, that someone could be speaking Italian and then across a border they're speaking Russian and German, and how that would be difficult for me anyway to adjust to if it was just like driving across the equivalent of one of our states, or not even the equivalent of one of our states, a couple of counties.
Rhea said yes, but if you like, I can teach you some Hindi words to you, which is the most spoken language in India.
But you'd have to be able to hear us enunciate and correct our enunciation. That's my problem, is I'd make a hack out of it trying to read it as it's, you'd have to write it phonetically. And then still, writing phonetically sometimes doesn't work in your favor either.
I think what Rich is saying is we're too dumb to do that.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, literally, you'd have to walk me step by step through it. I'd love to be able to speak other languages. I know a little bit of a couple of different languages, but unfortunately, they're all profanity. It's all profane stuff. Yeah, I'd love to, but would I make as good of a student as I would like to? Or as you would hope that I would?
Rhea said, by the way, I'm also studying, and the background music is so good. It's so powerful.
In the description below, you can find out where to go to get more if you want. They have several different types of albums. I just grabbed the ones that are closer to what I normally listen to without getting a copyright strike. But I do have all that stuff listed, so no matter what. I mean, if you wanted to know what I'm using for paints, the only thing I don't have maybe is brushes. These ones, they were cheap brushes. They're Dugados, squirrel hair, and they came in a pack of 3.
Did you say squirrel hair?
Squirrel hair.
That just tickles my funny bone.
Okay.
Oh God, just a squirrel, kind of down on his luck, sells his hair. I have no idea why that tickles my fancy so much, but it certainly does.
Okay.
Just imagining the squirrel getting his hair cut.
Yep. That's fine. I'm glad you're amused.
Hey,
Okay,
Nothing else. I can amuse myself.
I'm literally glad you're amused. Okay. If you can be amused, that's great. That's not an easy feat these days. Like, you know. Or maybe it's easier for you.
Yeah.
It seems like every time I try to get amused, I lose followers. Every time I think something's funny.
We reveal how stupid we really are. We're like, oh, you guys are idiots. They'll laugh at anything.
I don't know. People read into things what they want to. But that right there, you were amused because you're a writer. And your imagination just kicked in, and that's great. In my opinion, that's great. When your imagination kicks in, no matter why. But I didn't make these brushes. And I'll tell you, Kolinsky sable is a sable. That's sable hair. A lot of people are activists, don't think that you should use animal hair brushes and stuff. And I guess I'm kind of with you mentally, because I'm like, why shouldn't you use sable hair? You know, you can cut my hair, it'll grow back. You don't have to kill the sable and skin it to use its hair, you know.
Right.
But those same people probably get offended for sheep. You made that sheep bald just so that you could be warm in the winter and not freeze to death.
Yes.
And I don't know, I don't get that. The sheep aren't hurt, you know. So. If they're literally hurt in the process, that's a whole different story, but most of the time, they're not. They don't want to hurt them because they want them to produce more, right?
All right.
You see how I kind of made that brown, like a brownish tone?
Yeah.
And I'm using this a thin down version. Let's darken a little bit. But I'm going to keep it in the green scale when I darken it. And I'm going to do a smaller brush. So, are we at war now again? A different war? World War III? What's going on, you know?
I have no idea. I don't think they have a clue either.
Well, it's just, I was told that we did a bombing run or something.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, somebody writing us saw that.
Yep.
I looked up to see if somebody said something in the comments. I was like,
No, when my son brought up baby cat so I could hold him on camera, it's not him, it's her.
I told you, no more of that shit without him having a mask. That's the rule. If he wants to have stuff on my show, he's got to have what I want on my show too.
But I told him when he comes back upstairs, because I assumed he's going to take baby cat downstairs, because I don't think she likes upstairs. And said, just bring me a pop. And that was like an hour ago. God. I think someone might have forgotten.
Does someone have video games going?
Probably.
I find that that's a big progenitor of forgetting.
Yeah. Oh, your parents never let you adopt a cat? Well, I did not want to adopt a cat. We have 2 of them.
Oh, yeah, I hear that. I'm not a big fan of having a cat either. So every time we move someplace, my wife gets a cat for some reason. Usually ostensibly for one of the kids who really don't pay attention to the cat. And this cat thinks it's my cat.
It can sense your hatred. It feeds on it.
Well, I don't hate cats. I just, that is not my choice animal. Like I wouldn't say hate. It's a strong word. I had a friend who hated cats, and I'll just avoid saying what he would do if he found a cat. You know what I mean? So I am not that. I am not a cat hater. Matter of fact, the cat probably loves me because I pet the cat, and I told the kids when they first brought the cat home that you can lock the cat out of your room, but you can't lock the cat in your room because cats have a natural proclivity to roam. And if you're going to have a cat, you can't trap them in the bedroom or trap them wherever you want. You have to let them roam. And I've been a big proponent of freedom for the animals. Or at least the animals in our house. So I think between me not letting him be captive and me being up late and everyone else not. So cats naturally roam the dark hours too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably why there's an association between that cat and myself, more than likely. Let the cat roam. Let the cat be the cat.
Thaddeus likes to pick up every pet we have. Like, which is why I think he likes some smaller, like, because we started off with the dog, and then we got the cats, and then the hamster. And I think he loves the hamster the most because he can carry it around super easily.
And they can't run away.
Yeah. The dog, he can carry the dog, but not very far or very fast. The dog doesn't like it as much either. So
The dog getting chunky.
yeah. She was skin and bones when we got her.
Can you
So
say she was a rescue dog?
yep. Got her from the shelter. She had a terrible name. I don't know why. Her name was Medusa. I'm like, why would you name your dog Medusa?
What kind of dog is it?
It's a pit bull.
That's why. Because it wants to be a scary name.
Oh, that's dumb.
Well, a lot of people that get pit bulls. I mean, I got a brother that's right into them. He loves his pit bulls as much as his daughter, I'm sure. Like, he really, really loves his dogs. And he can't understand why people think pit bulls are dangerous. Well, like, they're not really. They're dangerous because people train them to be dangerous.
Right.
And it's not the dog's fault, so I don't think the dog should be blamed. I don't think it's fair to blame the dog anyway, but I can see how they just associate that dog with the bad things that happen with pit bulls. Unfortunately, it's kind of like, blaming the gun for what people do with guns. Pit bull's not at fault for what a trainer teaches them to do. Because if the dog doesn't do what the trainer's teaching him, generally they get punished, and it's not really fair on the dog. That's like the proclivity to put a dog down if it bites, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between that dog being a fighter and that dog nipping at somebody that moves quickly. Or reaches in front of its chow, or there's a dozen different reasons that a dog could nip without intending to grab you and shake you until you're dead. But there's no distinction made because you can't, right? It's either all or nothing. And I, if you haven't noticed, am a much bigger fan of dogs than cats. But cats don't get killed if they nip you or claw you. And they do it just to be assholes.
Pretty much. Yeah, 1 minute the cat's like, oh yeah, this is perfect. For some reason, light switch flipped. They
will come over to you, get pet, enjoy it, purr, and then turn around and snap.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, cat.
Like, I have some choice words for you, and they're not nice.
Rhea said, we don't have a cat or dog, but we have a cow owned by my uncle. We worship cows. They are holy animals in Hinduism.
Right, and I didn't want to make any comments because I didn't want to seem rude. I kind of thought it was like an all-animal thing, but didn't want to say anything. Didn't want to make any assumptions. This is that impatience of letting it dry that I have a problem with here, but certain parts need to fade darker because they are going into shadow. And even though I've got like the seriously darker colors delineated by the complementary colors, when I draw, I can go back in with some lighter colors, some yellows. Funny, I never really thought of myself as particularly patient. But I'm patient enough to see a 27 episode painting done. Right?
Yeah.
Just not for me to let it dry, so
Rita said, we worship them because they give us milk, which is so necessary for a newborn child. Just like our mother feeds us milk, we are dependent on milk from our childhood.
Hey, yeah, I'm got nothing against milk. We don't worship cows, or at least I don't worship cows. But definitely understand that you do. What part of India are you from, Rhea?
Rita said, so whenever you visit India, never ever ask anyone for a beef meat. They'll slap you for sure.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. I can't eat that stuff anyway. I can't eat that stuff anyway. But, you know, in all honesty, the likelihood of me visiting India is probably pretty low.
Because of cost, right? Like if you had the chance.
Because of cost, because of, because I'm poor, because and my health restrictions, you know, there's a lot of reasons that it probably wouldn't happen.
Well, yeah, I'm just clarifying. It's, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like in likelihood, I probably wouldn't visit there, but I already knew that that would be a foolish thing to seek out. I wouldn't be asking, you know, hey. And this is tasteless to say, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's me. It reminds me of the movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You remember the guys in the camp, and he's having a burger, and he's like, please pass the ketchup. Yeah, well, like I said, I can't eat that meat anyway, so no worries here.
Hey, it's good information for me. I can still eat the meat.
Yeah, right. There you go. Don't eat cow. No steaks for you. Veggie steaks. Actually, I eat a lot of chicken and fish these days. So. Mostly fish. Good for the heart. I'm also pretty fond of scallops and shrimp and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
What's that?
Back when I think I was in high school still, my wife and I, well, my girlfriend at the time, we went to this Chinese buffet and we took her little sister with us. And there's a pretty good age difference between my wife and her sister. It's like 6 years. So if I was in high school, that would put her somewhere in the middle school. I mean, just kind of tells you the dynamic. I'm not exactly sure that my wife wanted to take her sister at that time, but whatever. We were all there, and I'm sitting there, and they had scallops on the buffet, and I knew what they were, but I was pretty sure that my wife's sister didn't know what they were. I think she thought they were potatoes. And watching her bite into that first one, oh gosh, that was hilarious. Completely caught her by surprise. Hey, Rhea said if you love chicken, butter chicken is just for you. Oh, butter chicken is good.
Yeah, butter's bad for me though, so.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. Talk about it. Tell me about it, dude. Like, all the stuff that I love or love the taste of or whatever, I can't eat for one reason or another.
Ugh.
If it isn't for the heart thing, it's for the diabetes thing, so. I have learned to like fish. Like, I really never had anything against fish, per se. Like, just wasn't a, choice meal. I'm not a fan of lobster. I know, I'm in Maine, people will kill me, but not like all the other shellfish, pretty much. So. The irony is that at one time, lobster used to be poor people food. And now, it's completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. But, that's all the better for all those people who do like lobster. Because I'm not getting in their way.
Oh, butter chicken curry and naan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like butter. It's just that it don't like me. Don't like my arteries. So given a choice between eating something I really like and living, which is really the choice I'm given. Yeah. You want to live or... I'm going to guess that the person that I started this project to help out isn't going to bother watching.
Well, I love it no matter what. I don't care.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I told you I didn't know if that person was going to watch or whatever. I'm going to guess that that's not going to take place. That person's not going to watch.
For those who might be watching, this is based off a character design that I've been writing. And I think it's fun. I think every writer probably finds it fun when they get to see something they pictured in their heads and, put into words, but seeing it, just always fun.
I'll talk to you after the show or whatever. Tell you more on that subject.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm almost feeling like the attempt was never going to be successful. What do I know? I find out day by day that I know less and less than I thought I did, even though I study more.
Oh, that was funny. Whatever the noise was, because I'm naturally drawn to the big screen with the Twitch stream on it versus the stream yard. And
Any activity on that? Because
not that I can. Not that I know of.
I never can see, so.
But anyway, you knocked something over, and the delay was just.
I didn't knock anything over. I think you're hearing the neighbors.
Oh, well, okay.
Somebody pulled up across. Like, my window is, like, right there. And even though it's closed, somebody pulled up in the truck and was blasting something, so. I think that's actually what you heard. I didn't knock anything over. I did. That is the arm of my chair. So that could be it too. I don't know about you, but I always reach a point in a painting or a piece of artwork where I both love it and hate it. Like, not necessarily at the same time, but like they're always what I call the ugly stage, and then when I get past that stage that's ugly, then I like it all over again.
Yeah. I always thought, at least whenever I did anything with watercolor, there was always a part where it was just like, this looks like turd. And then you kind of have to have the confidence that you're going to get it right.
Yeah, you have to have the perseverance to continue.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is going to be weird, but it's like I always told my kids when they're watching a horror movie. Like, if you quit watching the horror movie before it's done, it's going to be scary for the rest of your life. If you watch the horror movie till it's done, then it's like, oh, that's not such a big deal. It's kind of like that. Like, if you quit before you're done, you're never going to see what you intended to or what you can make of it. I mean, I suppose that's fine for some people. I have literally thrown paintings out and then came back and went, not so bad. I've actually had people pick a painting out of the trash, and go, no, you're not giving up on that right now. And
Hi, Sanity Sucks.
they saved it.
Sanity Sucks says your mic has horrible feedback.
Huh. Wow. Seems like any mic that I use, somebody's telling me I get horrible feedback. My mic or his mic?
Your mic, Rich.
That is really weird because I'm just using my laptop's mic. when I use the other microphone, I've got another microphone, it was giving everybody feedback. I couldn't hear it, but everybody else could. That's why I stopped using it. I wonder how many people think I'm giving a horrible feedback. Let's see if I turn my volume down a little bit, maybe. Is that a little bit better?
I don't hear any real difference.
I can try to plug my other mic back in. Let's see. Let's see if it tortures people. Well, let's see. I don't even know if I can get to the cord right now. Let's see. I can.
Those are some noises.
You know, only in the hope of clarity. Let's see if I turn this. Let's see if I turn this on and it makes everything stream at you. I think that's what happened last time. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nod if you can. Is it loud?
No.
Is it loud?
No.
Because
You're
I can't
good.
hear you now, so I can't hear anything now.
That's the weirdest thing ever. We are experiencing some technical difficulties here at the Gordox Pub. Uh-oh.
Nope. No difference.
What?
Let me see if I can hear.
You can't hear me?
On here. Nope. I can't hear anything. Like, oh, my whole volume is shut down.
Huh.
That's really weird. Oh, you know what I bet it is? Let's see. Weird.
Okay, well, you sound better.
That's so funky. Can you hear me
What?
fine right now?
Yeah?
Yeah, so I have to have my earphones plugged in for me to use the mic.
Okay.
Now I need to know if anybody else is hearing. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm getting feedback now that I'm using the mic again.
Well, I don't hear any feedback.
But you didn't hear any feedback in the first place.
Well,
Did you hear feedback in the first place?
it sounded gravelly, but I wasn't sure what it was. Like, it wasn't like an echo.
Right. Well, feedback, I guess that's probably what everybody was hearing.
Okay, well, I think you sound better now.
Well, that's because I've got the mic in, and so the mic is a little bit away from my face. The reason that I stopped using this mic actually is because when I was using it, it started to have loud feedback. It was like whistling and stuff like that. Do you remember? Because it was like you and Joe on the show when that happened.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, but I didn't change anything. Didn't change anything with the mic, so you know.
I don't know. Don't
Right.
know.
Long if this is fine, that's fine. And someone else outside of us has to know whether or not it sounds right because we don't hear it the same way. I definitely don't. I'll go into the studio and if I'll check and see if the mic's working, and that's about it. Well, hopefully this is better.
Well, I think it sounds better.
I do like this mic. The only reason that I stopped using it is because everybody was telling me that it was giving feedback.
That's weird.
That it is. Switch gears and mix these two greens for a minute.
You know what tiger lilies look like?
Yeah.
Do you think those are kind of... I don't want to impugn your work, but I don't know exactly what type of flower that you have there.
It's a fantasy flower.
Okay, that's good.
It was never intended to be a specific type of flower. I wanted it to have a little bit of a lily feel.
Okay, and it does. I do think it does. Paul Maitland Art says raid. He also says
cool.
moist. And Lady Amnesty says hi. In Arcana Malefica or Malef.
Hi,
Howdy.
welcome.
Welcome to the Gordox Pub. Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I couldn't tell what your flowers were, but I was like, okay. And
Then they're not my flowers; they're his flowers.
Yeah. Then I was kind of thinking, orange might look good against that. I don't know. It's up to you. I don't really care.
I'm gonna do a kind of a goldenish white on the edge white here.
Arcana Malefica, and I hope I'm saying your name right, says, looking cool.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the raid. I think this is my first raid.
Raid? It's that old commercial.
Yeah, because we can't tell. We can't tell if we're getting raided. This is the first time that we've had Twitch open while we're streaming because we just use StreamYard.
Paul Lenart said, I popped your raid cherry.
That's right. Apparently, Anthony has been threatening to. Anthony Wheeler has been threatening to. But even if anybody did, I wouldn't have known before. So this is the first one I knew of. Thank you very much. And welcome in. I don't even know if I know how to raid.
We're both too old for this.
That's a learning process. So does it sound like a... Okay. So he's asking what we're doing and tell us a little bit about us. I guess I'd call myself retired now, so I'm a retired tattoo artist. Almost 200-time award-winning tattoo artist. I do illustrations by commission and commissioned art. And, you know, art for fun, like this. And I'm also a writer. Brett, how about you do your introduction?
Oh, well, I am not an artist. I don't.
That's not true. He's just not a practiced artist.
Okay.
Well, you said you used to do watercolor, so that would be
true.
a watercolor artist.
Writer. This is Rich was playing with one of my characters here. His name is Umjot. He's a troll that it's got really deep thoughts. Deep thoughts.
He's a hippie troll.
Yes.
He's doing the hippie troll. I've started this actually to show someone how to basically work from big shapes, big circular shapes, into smaller and smaller detailed shapes. But I don't think the person that I was showing ever watched, or the person I started to do it for ever watched. So, Brett, do you have a train going by?
Do I have a what?
Train going by?
I do have a train going by.
Oh yeah, sounds like it's right in my ear.
That's funny because I mean I don't think that's. I would guess that's downtown. Yeah. Oh well.
That's okay. I have an autistic kid. He likes trains.
It's the hype train. Yeah.
Hype train is a a thing on Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm still so new. I don't know much about it, so.
Yeah, we're noobs. You've been on Twitch more than I have.
Yeah. I'm basically visiting other people's rooms to learn the ropes and to meet new people, but I wouldn't say I've been on here long enough to know much. What I have learned is there's a pretty damn good art community. What were you up to tonight, Paul? What have you done?
You brought the hype train.
Well, yeah, I know, but he generally is doing some kind of painting. He's generally doing some kind of painting. Or setting up for a painting, drawing, or...
Arcana Malefica says, yeah, we are creative too. Or we are creative. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we are creatives too. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm good with the language.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm better with written language than I am with spoken language. But...
Well, it was nice to meet you guys too.
Yeah, thanks very much for stopping in. Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy.
Yeah.
Now we're finally 2 year more yellow. Trying to remember what I saw Paul doing last. I just stopped in I want to say yesterday. But I stop in a lot of people's. Generally, I give them a hi, say hello. Sometimes I just lurk.
Lurker.
This is me not being able to leave it alone again.
Got it. Gotta touch it. Gotta touch it.
Yeah, and the innuendos begin.
Arcana Malefica says, "You'll go blind."
I knew that was coming. And all that implies.
Innuendo, another name for suppository. There you got a twofer. Innuendo.
Well, definitely thanks for stopping in. And thanks for, welcome to come back anytime. And by the way, if any of you guys have channels to share or sites to share, you're welcome to. Did Paul ever say what he's working on?
Nope.
He may not have stuck around.
Well, it's a raid. It's a hit and run. You gotta move on to the next target.
Sometimes Paul usually comes in there for a couple of minutes, though. Chats a little bit.
Yeah, but definitely, if people have their own streams, man, put it down in the links, or put links in the thing.
Yeah, right.
Make it easy on us to go find you.
And we fully support helping other creatives.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons that this is a thing. I started doing this on YouTube to help people that had asked me a lot of questions about painting. Then again, like normally I'm painting with acrylics, so this is I guess I paint with a lot of different things, but I'm probably more known for painting with acrylics. So when they ask questions and people are afraid that they can't take a long time, they think that they have to rush or whatever. I want to support the idea that you take as long as you need to get what you're trying to get, and that if you misstep on a painting, you can just paint over it. You can do a lot of course correction as you go. So the idea for this this whole thing was to help people that either want to learn or to help people that are creative to expand their viewership or reach. Yeah. And we like to do giveaways here. I'll randomly look for suggestions of what to do or have some stuff built up around and offer to do a giveaway to, well, we do drawings. I have a special needs kid, so he's the one that does the drawing, so it's as fair as it can possibly be. So, what do you think about the setting?
What about it?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you think the setting is? I mean, like, I can do just some dark background or whatever, but so I wasn't going to do a blue sky if I was going to do light blue flowers or something like that. Oh. And is he in a cave? Is he could be in a forest, but Hmm.
I mean, in the story, he was a druid, so being in the woods makes sense, actually. Um, but his people lived up in the mountains. So,
Yeah, but where was he when he was smelling the flower? Wasn't he in the?
that was in a garden. Because he eats one.
But that was in the mountain village, right?
No, that was uh, a place called the Growlery, and I modeled it after there's a garden in England where like everything that's in it is poisonous. So it's kind of what this is. But I mean, in all honesty, it doesn't matter. I mean, it could be anywhere. You've seen Willow, right? The movie.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember there's the scene where they're in a castle and there's a two-headed dragon thing.
Yep.
The other thing where the baboon-looking thing's supposed to be trolls.
Oh, the things that were crawling underneath a bridge or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think they were supposed to be trolls.
maybe they were. It's been a long time since I saw that movie, so.
Yeah, I have to watch that again. Not my type of troll.
No. Yeah, this is not probably what I would have imagined for a troll myself, but I'm glad I didn't put your other character in with him there, though. So I thought about it. I wanted to keep it simple because it was a demonstration originally. How many are watching are painters?
I'm a reformed painter.
So these are direction. This is a directional mic. And,
Okay.
well, normally you can hear what's going on behind me. And I think that effectively was canceled or minimized this time.
What are you painting, Nate?
What are you thinking, buddy?
What was I doing? No bummer? No.
Same thing as I was making before.
What are you making now?
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
So I'm dabbing ultramarine blue onto the established purple to darken it.
Okay.
So I want to bring the face forward a little bit. It's so weird, like we talk about line weights, we talk about sequential illustration,
Yeah.
like comic book illustration. And the line weights are thicker lines. And there's two things you do with the thicker lines. One of them is you thicken the lines in the foreground so that it pulls them forward. The thinner lines tend to look like they're fading away in the background. Or you can use them to add to the shadow side so that you show the light source off. You generally don't mix them though. Ah, she does not sound good.
Told you.
Tell her I said go to urgent care.
I think I shall abstain from that.
Well, if you tell her that I'm telling her.
That is not a good way to win friends and influence people. Ugh.
What are you watching? Pump Up the Volume?
You're talking to me?
Yeah. Wendy Bruce had a book.
Did you say that you didn't like the Be Cool and Get Shorty films?
No, that's not what I said.
What did you say?
I said they did not have strong endings. They didn't have real endings.
Okay.
The same things with the books. If you watch to the end of Get Shorty, instead of it having a conclusion of what's actually happened, it turns it to a movie, which is in the middle of where they ended it to switch over to a movie. And the book doesn't do any better. It leads you to think that you're going to come upon a conclusion right away, but it does the same kind of thing. No, the charm to those movies and books, and generally anything that he wrote, is the characterization. It's like Justified. You like Justified as a TV show because you like Rayland and you like the way it's portrayed by Timothy Oliphant. But I've read the books, and the original stories with him, Rayland's kind of an idiot. I mean, literally, he has one prisoner escape, and that's one of the stories. Is he's going to collect this prisoner that has escaped from him one time because he went to get an ice cream, and yet the prisoner convinced him he was all right to go to the bathroom. And guess what happens?
He escapes.
Yes, and then he has to chase him down in a different country where he has no jurisdiction, and he's not the same character as in the TV show. That's a stronger character in the TV show. Now, when a few books later after he's written them, when Timothy Oliphant told him that he needed to write more Rayland characters, and he famously said that was the first time he'd ever had one of his characters tell him to write more about him. He wrote the book Rayland. It's just Rayland, and that's what I think they did season 2, 3, and 4 based on that. Or at least 3 and 4. They had a couple of seasons that they pulled out of that material. And in that book, some of the characters are merged into a single character in the show. Like Dewey Crow and uh, Tiki. They're kind of merged into a single character. The bad guy dresses in drag in one scene to one of the bad guys dresses in drag that's intending to kill Raylan. That doesn't happen in the TV show. But it would have been a hell of a lot more interesting had it happened, though, considering who that particular bad guy was. I don't want to do a spoiler, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But the books, the earlier books like Pronto and those where Raylan was not as strong of a character. And Winona, I don't know if Winona was his wife's name, but they had 2 kids. Which is also a little bit different from the show, you know. Too soon. Yeah, but Elmore Leonard was brilliant with his characters and characterization. But like most Seat of the Pants writers, they don't have strong endings. They just have strong characters. And he was no different. His characters were very, very strong. He said in an interview that he tended to just he wrote longhand, and so he would just tend to write longhand, and then he realized he was so many pages into it, and then he'd say like I got to end this somewhere, so he'd just come up with an ending on the spot. But his plot theory was really that you take a couple of strong characters and throw a bag of money in between them and see what happens. That was pretty common of a theme in his work. But he started, when he started writing, he was writing in Hollywood in the 40s, so he was writing westerns. And writing crime was basically modernizing the western, because most of the westerns were basically crime stories. Which I had never thought of that way until he said it. But
well, if you think about it, your sheriff becomes your detective.
Well, more than that, like crime stories aren't necessarily about detective stories. Detective and crime are 2 different pockets. Crime stories are like The Godfather, or like when you're watching Raylan, you're watching Boyd Crowder just as much as you're watching Raylan. You're watching Jackie Brown. That the criminals are who you're following. You see what I mean? Yep. So the crime story is about criminals and crime and how they're really people as well. But if you're watching westerns, a lot of them are stagecoach robberies, or one of the ones that Elmore Leonard wrote was Hondo, and it's basically a white guy that was raised in Apache, or an Apache that was raised as a white guy. It was a white actor either way, but the story was supposed to be like a commingling of them, where it was really about a stage robbery, and they came to use his property to make an exchange and a getaway and all that. Then it was about what happens with a bag full of money and some characters. Just like he said it would be. I found that interesting, that I never thought about it like that, but it really is. Like, a lot of the characters in westerns, so for instance, High Plains Drifter, or The Unforgiven, they're about characters that are really kind of bad guys, but they're just not as bad as the story bad guys. They're anti-heroes. So the story's about criminals doing things and how they live. So, I mean, it's an oversimplification, but it's not just a detective story, because it's not about necessarily solving the crime or catching the bad guy. Sometimes the bad guys get away with it, and you're rooting for the bad guys to get away with it. I'm gonna say the Ocean's movies, right? Gone in 60 Seconds, and those are the stories about people that aren't cops. Winning by unusual or maybe even criminal means. The Godfather is just such an iconic one to use as an example, because really nobody in The Godfather is a good person as far as non-criminal. Even Kay is not a very good person. Michael started off as a pretty good person and ends up as much less so. But The Godfather was about family, and the Italian family, and how that translated into the mafia. If you read the book, you get a much bigger understanding of that. I really loved the Sicilian too, and the Sicilian is the story of Salvatore Giuliano, which is a real person, but it's basically the Italian or Sicilian Robin Hood. And Robin Hood is pretty much a crime story too, if you really look at it. I just never thought about the relationship between westerns and crime drama until, a master of both put it in that light. And now I wonder if I totally derailed what you were asking me for. Do you know why it was that you were asking me if I liked or disliked or didn't like Be Cool and
Oh, I was watching clips of them lately. Like they've been popping up in my feed on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't remember what you had said about it. And I remembered it was something that...
Yeah, they just don't have really... They don't really have endings. I guess the way that they filmed Get Shorty, it has an implied ending. And the implication is that he got away with whatever he was getting away with and ended up selling the movie to Hollywood because...
Right.
But at the beginning of the book, that wasn't his goal. And at the beginning of the story, that wasn't his goal. He got that goal somewhere between supposedly collecting the money that he was supposed to collect and accepting the takeover of the mob boss that took over his the mob boss that he had been working for. It's really amusing in the book because one of Elmore Leonard's big strengths were these snappy comebacks and snappy not really catchphrases, but like one-off things that his characters would say or use that they may not say or use again. And like when you first get introduced to Chili Palmer with the character in the movie that's Dennis Farina's character, it's because that guy took his coat. Like, took his coat from whatever restaurant that he was eating in. And he was pissed off that his coat was there. I guess he had some relationship issue with his wife over that particular coat or something. So when he shows up to want his coat back, he knocks on the door, and when that character opens the door, he just punches him in the face. But he's talking all the way through it about how if you're a collector for a loan shark, you don't really break the people's legs and all that, because if you broke everybody's legs, then they would never pay you back. You just want to scare them into thinking that. Which is why his big catchphrase was, "Look at me." I want you to look him in the eye, so... Maybe that mop's the bigger two. It got suddenly quiet. So did you watch it?
What, the whole thing? Or just, no. When I've seen the films, I saw when they were out theaters.
No, I meant, did you watch it after?
After what?
They started throwing it up there on your feed or whatever.
Well, I just started watching the clips.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Did you? Oh, so
Yeah.
you just watched clips, so you didn't revisit.
But I've
the
seen
whole
the
thing.
whole. No, I did not revisit the whole thing.
Yeah, well, you know, like I've seen a lot of movies too, and like we were talking about Willow, I saw it as a young man
Yeah.
quite a few times, but to be honest, I don't remember what it was supposed to be that was crawling under there. I remember them crawling under there, but
I think they were
I don't-
trolls.
don't remember if they were supposed to be trolls or not. So, I mean, I would have to revisit it to find out. Like, and then you were talking about, the hell was it that you were saying was, oh, Riddick, being Conan in space. And like, I still disagree, but you know, I could probably rewatch it and probably see where you're coming from. I disagree because I know a lot of Conan lore, and I that's what got me into reading. Really was Conan and Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan. But I'm almost certain I could see the parallels if I was looking for them. But I would have to revisit it to do it. Okay, this be picked out. Is that louder in the background with this mic on, or what?
Well, I could hear her.
Yeah, that's weird. As it goes back and forth. Bless you.
Amazingly enough, that wasn't me.
Yes, I know.
I know.
I was still passing on the sentiment. That is not sounding good.
Well, I don't think that was all from my end.
Yeah, because nobody over here was coughing. You know, you probably should have checked to see what color you described the flower in the story. Then it would at least feel like, you know, it was a scene from the story, you know? A little late now.
Yeah, it's a little late now. If I had to guess,
I don't know what you just said.
if I had to guess, blue might actually be the right choice.
Yeah, I was worried if it was purple. And I was like, yeah, I can't really do purple because there's purples in the contrast. So.
Well, then don't worry about it. I gotta find the files. Nope. It's all well and good until I can't find my
The Umjot files.
Yeah. Ah, there it is. Yeah, there are a lot of pages in this thing.
I find there are more pages to those things when we're looking for something. And then it's really harder to find, too.
Yeah, it's purple with yellow speckled petals.
So these are different flowers.
Yeah.
unless you change them.
Well, as it's currently submitted someplace, can't do that. You mommy. You mommy memo. My God. You mommy memo. Yeah, it says hello. And wow, your coloring is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for that name. That was beautiful.
Definitely thank you for the compliment.
I want to know, are you a comic artist?
I am not. Like, I'm not a published comic book artist. I have done illustrations, and I have done cover art for books, albums, stories. This is an illustration for Brett's short story, which could possibly lengthen out eventually. I do have some, I do draw some comic style art. So, but I'm not a regular comic book artist. I don't want to mislead anyone into thinking I am.
You said, because that skill is amazing, and really, that's cool.
However, there is a couple of comic projects that I've been brewing, I guess you could say. One with another artist, where I'm the writer, and one where I would actually be the writer and artist. Brett, in fact, suggested that we do one of them on stream. And since then, I've been thinking about that. But like I said originally, I thought, like, how are you going to sell it? But, that's probably the people that would be buying it wouldn't be people that are buying it because they were expecting something that they didn't recognize or have seen before. It would be someone that would be either supporting my art or want a copy for their own selves. And since I don't have a giant stream, a lot of people could be new to it too.
Your mommy memo is asking how long have you
Could you say his name again?
He wants to know how long you've been doing this. And to please continue your amazing work.
I guess the first thing would be, how long have I been doing this painting? Or how long have I been painting? Or how long have I been doing artwork? Because all three of them have different answers. This painting, this is the second stream on it. The first one was the penciling from the get-go and creating the image and then inking it. And then this one has been just the colors. So I would say 2-3 hour streams, something like that. How long have I been painting? I've been painting probably 25 years, maybe 30. Obviously, I've gotten better as I've gone along. There was a time that I really didn't know what I was doing at all. I was trying to learn without anybody's help. And then some other artists, well-known comic artists and well-known painters, gave me some pointers. And I've been doing this ever since. How long have I been doing artwork? Since I was probably about, 5 or 6 years old, maybe.
The year was 1952.
What's that?
I said the year was 1952. It's a Simpsons reference.
So it's self-taught or you studied art? Yes. It's self-taught and I studied art. Like anyone that's truly that truly wants to do art is going to learn from whoever will teach them or whoever will give them pointers or whatever books they can buy. And I did all. Like I didn't go to a formal art school. I did art in school. That didn't work out as well as when I did art on my own. I was a tattoo artist for a long time. And that helped. I've always been a natural artist, and I've always drawn like comic style art, and but learning to use the tools, the medium that I'm using, or the mediums that I use, wasn't just me. It was anyone that could give me any information on it at all, whether book or in person, or even just somebody hinting. Or I've had people be rude and say comments that I picked up on those comments and were like, anything that helps you learn what you're trying to learn. But if you're like me, you just don't have it in you to give up on shit. That might be perhaps my biggest strength or biggest curse.
Yeah. So this fine person wants to know, aside from people's art requests, what is your favorite thing to draw?
Muscles. Muscle tone, bodies, body shapes. But yeah, like I would say I'm a pretty much a fantasy artist by nature. So my first inclination is to do something that's fantastical. I like doing elves and dwarves and trolls and giants and warriors and barbarians and knights in shining armor.
He said, yo, that is a complicated thing to draw. And then he said, awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I've also, I've done portraits. I've painted portraits. I've drawn portraits. I like doing characters and trying to work my way into playing around a little bit more cartoonishly, which is what I was trying to do here. It wasn't as serious as definitely wasn't as serious. If I was trying to do a serious illustration for Brett's book or whatever, then I would do a very, very much more detailed drawing, and I wouldn't be painting it in watercolor. I would maybe use this as a color sketch and expand from there.
Do you ever consider digital art?
I have an XP pen, and I have played around with it a little bit, but not much since I haven't on stream. I'm like not that technologically advanced to do it on stream. That would take some time for me to get to know how to actually put it up on stream so that someone could see what I was doing. So I have some limited knowledge there. I use a Clip Studio Pro.
Your memo said true. I personally love traditional art better. And thank you for today. I had fun talking to you. Please continue your masterpiece.
Hey, well, I'm glad that you stopped in to talk to me. Stop in again any other time. Feel free to. And any questions that you have, feel free to ask. If I can answer them, I will. I don't think we're very long for it tonight, though. Been working on, like, we're almost 4 hours into it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do some background so that there's some color in the background. I decided to go with kind of sunset colors because you were talking about orange, but it's really red, but it's so watered down. And I can darken this later on. If need be. That's what the good thing about these big mop brushes are. Top coverage. Have you figured out what Snarl's dimension looks like?
Well, I mean, part of me kind of has, and part of me kind of I don't know. There's a good reason why I haven't gone into it much, but because I don't think it's one of those. It's very dark, very very dark.
So I noticed that there's a trend as far as Twitch goes, is that there are some people that do this all week long, like every day, but they don't do it on the weekends. And then there's some that do it just late at night. Of course, most of those that do it just late at night are in a place where it's less late at night where they are than where I am. I keep wanting to dip into that water, but it's so green that if I did that here, it would make this red basically brown. Another good thing about these mop brushes is that it tends to leave less of a streak. I mean, it's a smoother blend, I guess you could say. I'm also finding that they fit pretty much everywhere. So if there's anything that can be said for watercolors over acrylics, it's that it's a lot faster of a process. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you, and you as well. I think I'm 10 minutes late on that comment. All right, so that's it for the night. I'm not sure if that's not it completely, but I might, because I'm me, might end up touching it again, but pretty close to done. Gotta let it dry before I can peel the paint off or tape off. And we never really know if it's truly done until then. Besides that, I'm going to let it set and flatten out again too. This should all darken a little bit, I think. We'll see. Alright, so I'm going to kill the stream now. So everyone that showed up and watched, thank you for showing up and watching. Paul, thanks for the raid. Thanks for everybody that raided with him. Much appreciated. You're welcome back anytime. Did anybody end up posting any links in the chat?
Nope.
Well, hopefully everybody will feel comfortable enough too, because that's the purpose. And thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for liking and subscribing if you liked and subscribed, and let us know in the comments if you like the content. God bless. Good night. Much love.